Hi, all you guys out there in YouTube land. This is Chibi back with BJD Addicts Prompt 4 Backgrounds. I'm going to start off by just saying I'm only going to use these $4 at the moment. The other ones will come in prompt, I think it is 7 with relationships. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of these $4 and their characters, and then I will tell you how all their storylines come together because they're all within one universe. Quickly, this is Luna, Ash, Claudine, and Balana. Now, Luna is your average Reaper demon. Sorry, that was my friend. She's your average Reaper demon. She runs around. Nothing too special about her. The main thing that's special about her is she's a cat Reaper demon. She has the kitty hands of the Tong Tong because she's a hybrid demon, cat demon and Reaper demon. And she loves fixing her hair in crazy fashions. That's what she spends most of her time doing. Little Ash here. Now, his character hasn't developed a whole lot just yet because I haven't got his big form. He's gonna have a form as big as my SD girls, but right now he's in his mini form. And there's not a whole lot to him other than his storyline, which is he's a demon who has finally scratched his way out of hell, and when he gets to Earth, he initially is in this tiny form of a child, and he's out of it completely screwed in the head, like he's not been able to completely accommodate to the fact that Earth is much different than hell. And then you have Claudine and Balana. Their storylines are a lot more developed. They're the ones I've been working on a lot more. And Claudine here generally goes by the name Claude. She tries to pass herself as male for the most part, and her whole storyline is based around the fact that she's a street kid. Her parents lost their house at 4, and they got screwed living on the streets. There was nothing they could do about it. They were drug addicts. And at 5 years old, Claudine's dad died, and so she had to take over taking care of her mother, who was a drug addict as well. And for many years, they lived on and off in like women's shelters on the street, and that's just the life that Claudine knew. And at around age 13 or so, she finally her mother finally found a man who took her off the streets, and they got married when Claudine was 14. And at this point, Claudine didn't understand how to really live among quote unquote normal people. She only really knew the life of a street kid and how things went that way. So she didn't do well in school. She was angry, mad, had very bad social skills, but she fell in love with Balana here, who was going in the same school. Now, Balana lost her parents at age 7 and ended up in foster care, bouncing around in different homes until she finally ended up in a juvenile delinquency kind of orphanage. Like, she wasn't in juvenile delinquency center or anything, but it was a very high security orphanage where there's like bars on the windows and stuff, so she couldn't just run away very easily. But she was there from the age of about 14 to 16, and at 16, she'd spent 2 years trying to break out of this place, and she finally succeeded. And that's when she disappeared from school, and Claudine, being the person she was, stopped going to school because she had no reason to go, and went looking for Balana out on the streets trying to find her. Now, at this time, Balana started her own life. She did odd and end jobs until she could afford a low rent apartment. And finally, after about half a year of searching, Claudine found her in another city and pretty much stalked her because she didn't have the social skills and was too afraid to go up to her straight and just say, "Hey, I like you. Remember me from school?" or something, anything like that. So one night, and this is when all their stories start to merge. One night when Balana was walking home from one of her odds and end jobs. Sorry if you can hear my freaking washer in the background is like really loud. Um, One night when she was walking home from odds and end jobs she was doing, she saw a young child in an alleyway, which was Ash, and he had just emerged and was from hell and was completely out of it. And when she approached him in the alley, he bit her because that's how he feeds. He feeds off human blood. And before he could kill her, Claudine came in, ripped him away, and got bit herself in the process. And then Ash just kind of disappeared, and they didn't know what had happened or what it was. B'Elanna was completely unconscious, and Claudine took her to B'Elanna's apartment and attempted to get away before B'Elanna woke up, but failed. And B'Elanna saw her. They pretty much got reacquainted with each other. They'd never actually met in school, but they'd known of each other and told each other their life stories pretty much. And when Claudine went to leave, B'Elanna asked her, "Where are you staying?" And she's like, "Nowhere. I just stay wherever I fall." And so B'Elanna pretty much makes her move in. She's like, "You're not just going to be living on the side of the streets. It's not, no." So they move in together and they're living together, and they start noticing when they're angry. Well, you don't really just kind of notice. It just one time when B'Elanna was very angry, her horns decided to come apart. They emerged from her head, and they realized, and the place where Ash had bit her started to burn, and her horns came out, and they realized that both of them, when they were angry, started turning into these things, and they didn't know what they were anymore. And this is when Luna kind of comes into the story. At one point, B'Elanna is attacked by another demon in the road, but she doesn't know that's what he is. The two of them can't seem to beat him, and they don't know why, because their strength is much higher when they're in their demon forms with their horns and everything out. Oh yeah, and Claudine uses the Claire full set horns. And one time Luna appears and gives Claudine her sword so she can actually fight these demons and have a chance of winning. And later on, because Luna appears and reappears with them, she kind of disappears for a while. And one time she comes back with this sword for B'Elanna. And the difference between the two swords is Claire's sword can kill them, quote unquote, but it just sends them back to hell. B'Elanna's sword actually completely decimates them, and no one knows what happens to a demon when they're killed by this sword. They just know that they're never seen again. And Luna has somehow acquired this, which will be in later on story that hasn't completely developed yet. But that's pretty much where we are now. Luna's kind of going in and out of their lives when they need them, and they're trying to live normal lives while being hybrid demons. So it's a very interesting thing for them. There are some more dolls that will be coming into the storyline. I have my Wing 2 on layaway with a deer boy. And my Wing 2 is going to be one of the other demons that interacts with their lives. Like, he's a full demon. He's going to end up being Ash's big form's kind of boyfriend, but they're not really dating. They're kind of got this on and off relationship thing. And he's going to be a type of demon where he can call upon imp dolls or imp fairies, different styles of fairies that live in the world. And so the deer boy is one of the many imps that he can call upon, and it happens to be his like second-hand man. So with those, his name's going to be, I think, Nikolai is what I've chosen, but his true demon name is Necro. Yeah, and pretty much, other than I have to get Ash's big form, which he'll be a little bit bigger than both of these. Both my boys are going to be 70 centimeters. And at one point, if I could ever find someone to be her big form, I will, but I doubt I ever will, because I really like her cat demon part of her is a big part of her storyline later on. So they don't have big dolls with cat hands. And I might get her like a doll with wolf style hands. That would probably work. But for the most part, that's their whole story for right now. It gets really intricate, but it would take me way too long to tell a lot of that. Other than the fact that I will have some other imp dolls that are coming in later on, which will be part of my Nikolai's kind of crew. Yeah, because Nikolai's not bad, but he's not really good either. and when Ash is involved, he tends to get really up under their skin and screw with them. Especially when he gets angry at Ash, he helps them out, and when he's on Ash's side, he hurts them. So it's kind of like this back and forth kind of good guy bad guy. But that's all the story I have so far built up for them. So I will probably tell you a little bit more about their personal relationships with each other later, and I'll tell you my other doll's storyline in the relationship one, because that's pretty much most of their background has to do with them being in a relationship. So thanks for listening to my background story. I'll probably be doing another video in just a little while to do a dolly update. So bye.